Silent battlefields, where historic photos whisper the untold stories of war and human memory. The legendary Mitsubishi A6M0 fighter, the symbol of the Japanese Air Force in World War II, has now been carefully restored, becoming one of the few Zero models still in existence in the world. After the Pacific War ended, most of the machines that once roamed the skies were destroyed on the spot, often by burning to erase the traces of war. In remote areas, many Zeros were left to gnaw at time, gradually rusting in the deep forests or on the coast, or even dismantled by people to salvage every useful piece of metal. A few lucky ones were sent to allied countries, such as the United States and Australia, for technical research. But by the 1950s, most of them were also sold for scrap. It seemed that the traces of the Zero would disappear from history forever. It wasn't until the 1970s, when their historical value and technological prowess were re-evaluated, that the remaining aircraft began to be restored. Each deformed frame and rusted piece of alloy was brought back to life by passionate craftsmen, becoming treasures in museums and exhibitions around the world. Today, each preserved Zero is not only a testament to Japan's pioneering aviation technology, but also a symbol of a bygone era, where the past, memory, and respect for history are all fused together in its slender yet resilient form. The Supermarine Spitfire, the pride of the Royal Air Force, is one of the immortal symbols of World War II. Designed by the genius engineer Reginald J. Mitchell, the Spitfire was not only a fighting machine, but also a testament to the indomitable spirit and creative intelligence of Britain during the war. With an all-metal fuselage, elegant elliptical wings, and powerful Rolls-Royce Merlin engines, the Spitfire possessed outstanding speed and extraordinary maneuverability, allowing it to turn flexibly in fierce air battles in the skies of Europe. During the Battle of Britain in 1940, the Spitfire and its brother Hawker Hurricane became the shield, protecting the skies of their homeland, stopping the Nazi Air Force and contributing to changing the course of the war. Although originally built as an interceptor, the Spitfire was quickly adapted to a variety of missions, from high-altitude reconnaissance, ground attack, to bomber escort in campaigns spanning Europe, North Africa, and the Pacific. During its service from 1939 to 1945, the Spitfire went through 19 main versions and more than 50 sub-variants, each one in its own way, stronger, faster, and increasingly more refined. From the original .303 Browning machine gun to the 20mm Hispano cannon, the Spitfire was constantly upgraded to match, and even outperform Germany's most formidable opponent, the Messerschmitt Bf 109. Today, the roar of the Merlin engine still echoes at air shows, reminding future generations of a symbol of courage, of the spirit of freedom, and of a time when the Spitfire truly held the skies over Britain. The Messerschmitt Bf 109, the pride of the German aviation industry, was an iconic fighter aircraft that served as the backbone of the German Luftwaffe during World War II. Designed by the genius engineer Willy Messerschmitt and his team in the mid-1930s, the Bf 109 was one of the world's first modern fighters. It featured a monocoque all-metal fuselage, a closed canopy to allow pilots to operate at high altitudes, and retractable landing gear, features far beyond the standards of the time. Powered by Daimler-Benz DB601 and later DB605 engines, the Bf 109 could reach speeds of over 600 kilometers per hour, climb quickly, and maneuver powerfully, making it a formidable opponent for all Allied aircraft, especially the British Supermarine Spitfire. Throughout the war, the Bf 109 was continuously improved through many variants, from the E, Emile model that fought in the Battle of Britain to the G, Gustav, and K, Kurfürst models, with more firepower, higher speed, equipped with MG-151/20 cannons and MG-131 machine guns, capable of confronting even American B-17 bombers. Not only a fighting machine, the Bf-109 was also the second home of legendary pilots, aces of the skies such as Erich Hartmann, Gerhard Barkhorn, or Gunther Rahl. They set unbelievable records. Hartmann alone shot down 352 enemy aircraft, a number never surpassed in the history of military aviation. By the end of the war, more than 33,000 Bf-109s had been produced, making it one of the most produced fighter aircraft in the world. Although born in a dark period, the Messerschmitt Bf-109 is still remembered as a technical masterpiece, a symbol of speed, German mechanical precision, and the tenacious spirit of the people who once dominated the skies of Europe. The Ilyushin Il-2 Sturmovik, the legendary destroyer of the Soviet skies, was one of the most famous and feared attack aircraft of the entire Second World War. Designed by Sergei Ilyushin, the Il-2 was born with a clear purpose: to directly support the infantry, crushing enemy tanks, artillery, and defensive positions. With a thick armor structure surrounding the cockpit, engine and fuel tank, this aircraft was dubbed the Flying Tank, a nickname that both expressed respect and evoked its almost invulnerable power. Unlike light and fast fighters, the Il-2 was an armored beast, built to survive heavy anti-aircraft fire. It could carry bombs, RS-82 or RS-132 missiles, along with a 23mm or 37mm cannon and a 7.62mm machine gun, enough to destroy German motorized convoys, tanks, and fortifications. In the hands of brave Soviet pilots, the Il-2 became a constant nightmare for the Wehrmacht, especially on fronts such as Stalingrad, Kursk, and Berlin. One special feature that made the Il-2 immortal was its extraordinary endurance. Many returned to base with dozens of bullet holes in the fuselage, even missing part of the wing or severely damaged, but still landed safely. In the memory of many veterans, the Il-2 was not just a weapon. It was a steel comrade, a symbol of the strength and indomitable will of the Red Army. From 1941 to 1945, more than 36,000 Il-2 Sturmoviks were produced, a huge number that made it the most produced military aircraft in human history. Today, every surviving Il-2 is a living witness to a time when strength, courage, and sacrifice were combined in the deep roar of the Mikulin engine, a sound that symbolized the victory and steadfastness of an entire nation. The Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress. The legendary Flying Fortress of the United States Air Force is a symbol of strength, courage, and resilience in World War II. Born in the mid-1930s, the B-17 was America's first four-engine heavy bomber, designed to conduct strategic bombing missions at high altitudes during the day with great precision. The reason it was called the Flying Fortress was because the fuselage was covered with up to 13 12.7mm Browning machine guns, arranged in almost every direction: nose, tail, belly, sides, and upper turret, turning it into a flying block of steel that could defend itself against fierce attacks by German fighters. With its durable airframe and extraordinary ability to withstand damage, the B-17 became a legend of tenacity. Many returned to base in tattered condition, wings torn, one or two engines out, even missing the tail section, but still landed safely. That's what earned the pilots and crews the reverent nickname, the comrade who never dies. Throughout the war, the B-17 played a key role in the U.S. 8th Air Force's bombing campaigns over Europe, particularly in the battles for Berlin, Hamburg, and Schweinfurt. These missions were not only aimed at destroying Nazi industry, but also at weakening the enemy's fighting spirit. B-17 squadrons often numbered in the hundreds, forming huge formations, a majestic and haunting sight, with white smoke trails stretching across the smoky skies of Europe. In total, more than 12,700 B-17s were produced, and although they were later replaced by more modern models, such as the B-24 Liberator and B-29 Superfortress, the Flying Fortress name lives on as a symbol of courage and indomitable spirit, a testament to a time when the skies became the most fierce battlefield in human history. The consolidated B-24 Liberator was one of the greatest four-engine heavy bombers ever built by the United States during World War II. Designed by Consolidated Aircraft, the B-24 quickly became a mainstay of the United States Army Air Forces, USAAF, and many other allied forces, including the Royal Air Force, the U.S. Navy, and the Canadian Air Force. Unlike its more famous cousin, the B-17 Flying Fortress, the B-24 featured a Davis-type wing design, slender, long, and aerodynamically efficient, which gave it a top speed of over 290 miles per hour, 470 kilometers per hour, and a range of up to 2,200 miles, 3,500 kilometers, surpassing most bombers of its time. Thanks to that, the Liberator can carry out long-range missions, from bombing oil plants in Ploiesti, Romania, to hunting German submarines in the Atlantic, or bombing targets in North Africa and the Pacific region. Carrying up to 3,600 kilograms of bombs and armed with 10 12.7mm Browning machine guns, the B-24 was a nightmare for the Germans and Japanese. Despite its slender frame, the aircraft was remarkably durable, and American pilots called it the steel workhorse of war, unsophisticated but extremely effective. Between 1939 and 1945, more than 18,400 B-24 Liberators were produced, making it the most produced bomber in history. They appeared everywhere, from the deserts of North Africa to remote islands in the Pacific, from makeshift landing strips in Italy to cold bases in England. Today, the B-24 is seen as a symbol of America's industrial might and tireless fighting spirit, a testament to a time when flying fortresses carried not only bombs, but also hope, courage, and belief in the victory of the free world. The North American B-25 Mitchell, the legendary American medium bomber, is a symbol of courage, versatility, and indomitable fighting spirit in World War II. Named after the pioneering American Air Force General William "Billy" Mitchell, the B-25 proved that power comes not only from size, but also from boldness and sophistication in design. Equipped with two powerful Wright R-2600 Cyclone engines, the B-25 could reach speeds of more than 270 miles per hour, carry up to 3,000 pounds of bombs, and a variety of weapons. From 12.7mm Browning machine guns to 75mm cannons mounted in the nose in some versions. Thanks to its short takeoff capability, good maneuverability, and high stability, the B-25 could operate in a variety of environments, from makeshift runways in the jungles of New Guinea to the decks of aircraft carriers in the middle of the ocean. The B-25's defining moment was the 1942 Doolittle raid, when 16 B-25s were launched from the deck of the USS Hornet to attack Tokyo, an unprecedented feat of daring. Despite heavy losses and no significant strategic damage, the attack raised the morale of the entire U.S. military and put the Japanese Empire on guard. In total, more than 9,800 B-25 Mitchells were produced, serving in almost every theater of war, from Europe, North Africa, to the Pacific. In the hands of experienced pilots, it took on many roles: medium bombing, ground support, anti-submarine warfare, even destroying enemy warships. Today, the roar of the Wright twin engines and the majestic flight of the B-25 still echo in air shows as a reminder of a machine that helped change the course of war. A steel warrior that was both sophisticated and brave, forever etching its name into the history of the world's skies. The Focke-Wulf FW-190, the second pride of the German Air Force after the Messerschmitt Bf-109, was dubbed the Wolf of the European Sky. When it was officially launched in 1941, this fighter stunned the Royal Air Force, RAF, because it possessed outstanding speed, excellent maneuverability, and extremely powerful firepower, enough to confront, even overwhelm, the early British Supermarine Spitfires. Designed by engineer Kurt Tank, the FW-190 was a testament to the sophistication of German aviation engineering. The first version, the FW-190A, used a BMW 801 radial engine with a capacity of 1,600 horsepower, providing impressive acceleration and high mechanical durability, a great advantage in fierce air battles. The fuselage was built solidly but still neat. The cockpit had excellent visibility to help the pilot control flexibly in all situations. Armed with the 20mm MG-151/20 cannon and the MG-17 machine gun, the FW-190 could easily destroy enemy bombers or fighters in just a few short bursts. Focke-Wulf continued to improve the aircraft to meet the harsh demands of the battlefield. The FW-190 F and G series were optimized for ground attack, carrying bombs, rockets, and even belly guns to destroy Allied tanks. The pinnacle of development was the FW-190D, Dora, equipped with a more powerful Junkers Jumo 213 inline engine, allowing the aircraft to reach speeds of over 680 kilometers per hour, enough to challenge even the most modern opponents of the late war, such as the P-51 Mustang. In total, more than 20,000 FW-190s were produced, serving on all fronts, from fierce dogfights over France and Russia to escort, interception, and tactical bombing missions. For many German pilots, the FW-190 was the most ideal aircraft they had ever flown. Powerful, versatile, and reliable. Today, the Focke-Wulf FW-190 is still regarded by aviation historians as one of the finest piston fighters ever built, a perfect counterweight to the British Spitfire and the American Mustang, a symbol of engineering, power, and ferocity in the skies of World War II. The P-51 Mustang is considered a masterpiece of World War II aviation engineering and one of the most effective fighters ever flown by the Allies. Originally designed for the Royal Air Force, the P-51 quickly became the pride of the United States Army Air Forces, thanks to its perfect combination of speed, range, and firepower. When equipped with a Rolls-Royce Merlin V12 liquid-cooled engine, the Mustang could reach a top speed of over 700 kilometers per hour and a range of over 2,500 kilometers, enough to escort squadrons of B-17 and B-24 bombers deep into German airspace and return safely. With its optimized aerodynamic design, slender fuselage, and advanced laminar flow wings that reduced drag, the P-51 demonstrated incredible maneuverability in air combat. Armed with 6.50 caliber Browning machine guns, the Mustang could destroy everything from enemy fighters to trains and tanks on the ground. The most famous version, the P-51D, featured a bubble cockpit for all-round visibility and was the most produced variant. More than just an escort, the P-51 excelled in ground attack, reconnaissance, and even close support for infantry. From the skies of Europe to the Pacific, the P-51 Mustang was more than just a fighting machine. It was a symbol of American air superiority, a testament to the spirit of human ingenuity, tenacity, and the will to win in wartime. The Hawker Hurricane was one of the most iconic aircraft of the Royal Air Force, RAF, in World War II, and while it was often overshadowed by its more famous counterpart, the Supermarine Spitfire, it was the Hurricane that truly dominated the Battle of Britain in 1940. Designed by Hawker Aircraft's Sidney Cam, the fighter was a combination of cutting-edge technology and traditional construction. A sturdy, tubular steel frame, a fabric fuselage, and metal wings, making it both easy to manufacture and easy to repair on the front lines. The Hurricane was powered by powerful Rolls-Royce Merlin engines, capable of reaching a top speed of around 330 miles per hour, and carried 8 7.7mm Browning machine guns mounted along the wings, a firepower that could tear apart German bomber formations. While the Spitfire was often assigned to take on the Bf-109, the Hurricane was the nightmare of the heavily armed Heinkel and Dornier squadrons, repeatedly destroying them in the skies over Britain. With over 14,500 produced, the Hawker Hurricane was not only decisive in winning the Battle of Britain, but also served in many other theaters of war, from the deserts of North Africa, the Russian front, to Southeast Asia. Durable, reliable, and effective, the Hurricane is a symbol of quiet strength, representing the resilience and ingenuity of Britain during the darkest period of human history. The Battle of Narva, February 2nd to August 10th, 1944, was one of the fiercest and bloodiest battles on the Eastern Front, with a total of 550,000 casualties. Located on the Narva Isthmus, the strategic Estonian enclave became a fierce flashpoint between Nazi Germany, reinforced by Estonian volunteer units, and Stalin's Soviet Red Army. Both sides understood that whoever controlled Narva would hold the door to the Baltic. The battle was divided into two major phases: the Narva Bridge and the Battle of the Tannenberg Line, where shells, tanks, and blood mixed in close combat of unprecedented ferocity. Villages around Narva were flattened, the sky reddened by relentless artillery fire. Despite a series of Red Army attacks, the Germans stubbornly held on until Hitler was forced to withdraw from Estonia in August 1944. The Battle of Narva was not only a tragedy of hundreds of thousands of lives, but also a symbol of the despair of two exhausted powers in the throes of war. The Battle of France, May 10th to June 25th, 1940, was a lightning nightmare that stunned Europe and marked the abrupt end of the phenomenal war, the first quiet period of World War II. In less than 2 months, 469,000 soldiers were killed or wounded, and one of the most powerful armies in the world at the time, the French army, completely collapsed. On May 10th, 1940, Nazi Germany launched a lightning offensive through the Ardennes forest, which the Allies believed was impassable for tanks. Using blitzkrieg tactics, lightning warfare, the German army poured across the border, broke through the defense lines, and advanced straight to Paris with a speed that shocked the world. Although the two sides were nearly evenly matched, the French army was paralyzed by poor communications, chaotic command, and a false belief in the Maginot Line. By the end of June, a swastika flag was flying over Paris, a symbol of one of the most humiliating defeats in European military history. The Battle of France not only changed the course of the war, but also ushered in a dark period for the entire continent. The Siege of Berlin, April 16th to May 2nd, 1945, was the fiery end of World War II in Europe, where blood, smoke, and ashes mingled with the collapse of the Nazi Empire. With more than 1.29 million casualties, this was the final and bloodiest battle on the Eastern Front. After breaking through the Oder River defense line, the Soviet Red Army advanced like a storm, wiping out all remaining resistance, approaching Berlin at a speed of 40 kilometers per day. When only 56 kilometers from the German capital, three Soviet forces simultaneously launched a full-scale attack from the east and south, destroying pockets of resistance, while the northern wing crushed the last German defense line. The sound of cannons echoed through the ruined streets, and Red Army tanks roared into the heart of the dying empire. Hitler holed up in his bunker, watching his dream of hegemony crumble to ashes, before taking his own life on April 30th, 1945. On the same day, the red flag of the Soviet Union flew over the German parliament building, Reichstag, symbolizing the victory of the Allies and the end of the fascist nightmare. The Battle of Luzon, January 9th to August 15th, 1945, was one of the fiercest and bloodiest campaigns in the Pacific, with an estimated total of 332,000 to 345,000 casualties. The island of Luzon, the largest and most important of the Philippines, held a strategic position vital to the U.S. military in its plan to retake the Pacific. After months of waiting, in early 1945, General Douglas MacArthur, who had vowed, "I will return," finally fulfilled his promise with a massive amphibious landing on Luzon. The battle quickly turned into a living hell as the Japanese desperately fought back at all costs, including using kamikaze pilots to crash into U.S. warships. By February 11th, the U.S. had captured the capital, Manila, but the city had been severely devastated, with tens of thousands of civilians killed in the sea of fire. Despite the main force being defeated, the remaining Japanese troops still held out in the mountains and forests, conducting sporadic counterattacks that lasted for many months. Luzon became a symbol of the brutality, bravery, and terrible price that both sides paid in the final days of World War II. The Second Battle of Kharkov, May 12 to May 28, 1942, was one of the bloodiest tragedies of the Soviet Red Army in World War II. The city of Kharkov, Ukraine's leading industrial and strategic center, fell to Nazi Germany in the fall of 1941. Determined to regain this land, the Soviet Union launched a large-scale attack in May 1942 in the hope of turning the tide of the battle. However, they did not expect that the German army still had terrible latent power, along with the ability to counterattack sophisticatedly and brutally. In less than 2 weeks, 3 Soviet armies were surrounded and destroyed. More than 280,000 soldiers and 650 tanks were completely wiped out. The sky of Kharkov was filled with smoke and bullets. The ground turned into a giant cemetery. The battle ended in a major disaster for the Soviet Union and became a bitter lesson in strategic errors, but also a painful stepping stone for the growth of the Red Army in the following years. The Battle of Kursk, July 5th to August 23, 1943, is considered the largest tank battle in human history and the decisive turning point on the Eastern Front of World War II. After the disastrous defeat at Stalingrad, Hitler recklessly launched an operation to wipe out the Kursk salient, the protruding territory controlled by the Soviet Union, in the hope of regaining the initiative. But the Red Army had anticipated every move of Germany thanks to its excellent intelligence system, and prepared a defense line up to 185 kilometers deep, dense with minefields, obstacles, and anti-tank fire points. When the operation began on July 5, 1943, thousands of tanks roared into each other in a sea of fire and gunpowder smoke, creating an unprecedented scene of horror. After more than a month of fierce fighting, the German forces were exhausted, counterattacked, and forced into a defensive position. 388,000 casualties were the bloody price they had to pay. Kursk buried Hitler's last hope in the east, and from here the balance of war tilted towards the Soviet Union, opening the way for a counteroffensive to sweep fascism from Europe.